I pledge allegiance to
To
the flag
Yeah.
of the United States
States of America,
to
the republic for which it
stands,
stands,
nation of
one
God,
nation, under God,
liberty and
indivisible,
Justice for all.
liberty and justice for all.
The notice requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act for this meeting have been met by transmitting the notice of the regular meeting to the Commissioner's official newspaper on January 30th, 2020, and revised August 20th, 2020, posting the notice where required, and filing a copy of the notice with the Commission clerk. The Deal Lake Commission meeting will be audio and videotaped and will be shown on APTV, Optimum 77, and throughout most of Monmouth County on FiOS 30. I'm going to take roll call. Allenhurst. Asbury Park.
Here,
Deal's not here. Interlaken.
Present.
Lock Arbor.
Here.
Neptune.
Here.
Ocean. Don.
Done.
Don.
Done.
Don. He's muted. You're muted.
it's not.
Oh, yes. Sorry.
That's okay. Resolution 2053, a resolution to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of July 16th, 2020. Deal and Neptune do not vote. Someone please offer.
Often.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Does anybody want to read the treasurer's report?
Is that the minutes, Jesse?
Yes.
I think Eric, your assistant, right? So,
I was muted, and there is one thing in the minutes.
Okay.
It's an item under water testing, Monmouth University.
Okay.
The last sentence on that page says, due to COVID-19, there is no data yet for 2020.
Right.
And there is data for 2020,
Okay, but it was at the last meeting, it was reported that there wasn't any.
but there is.
Okay,
you know,
but
yeah, but the meeting, it was reported to me there was no data though.
Who
You
said
may
that?
know that, and I may know that, but it was reported there was no data.
Well, right after that, I reported about the data. That's why I'm saying, right after that, where it says the water testing and need for more training, I said that, I explained that there was data and that people have been testing. Remember that? I explained that people have been testing around the lake.
okay,
All right, that's good. We'll correct that.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'll accept that correction.
okay. I will correct it.
thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so we'll accept the minutes with the correction under water testing.
Okay.
Okay.
Eric, you want to read the treasurer's report?
Eric's muted.
Oh.
Yes,
He's muted.
he's muted.
I don't think so. Yeah, you're muted, Eric.
There you go.
There you
All
go.
right. Okay, balance on hand previous month, Manasquan Bank, $78,030.92. New Jersey Cash Management Fund, $42,294.14. Total on deposit, $120,325.06. Receipts. Interest, Manasquan Bank, July, $76.78. Interest, Cash Management Fund, July, $4.20. Other annual assessment, $3,750. Total receipts, $3,830.98. Disbursements, 2020 appropriations. Lorraine Carafa, CFO, $416.67. Jesse Joseph, Administrator, August, $625. Carol Rorty, reimbursement, $73.85. Callie's Termite and Pest Service, $514.55. Don Brockle, reimbursed storage fee, August, miscellaneous supplies, $374.52. ELD LLC invoice number 32360, $600. Jersey Central Power and Light account number 995. Princeton Hydro, $349.80. Solitude Lake Management, $2,167.50. The New Coaster, $79.91. Subtotal disbursements, $5,211.75. 319H WM18 016 Princeton Hydro invoice 39801, $1,299.30. Subtotal 319H $1,299.30. Total grant disbursements $1,299.30. Total disbursements $6,511.05. Balances after August disbursements, Manasquan Bank, $75,346.60. New Jersey Cash Management Fund, $42,298.34. Total on deposit, $117,644.94. That is the report.
Thank you. Someone please offer.
Offered.
Second.
Second?
Asbury Park,
Yeah.
Interlaken,
Yes.
Luck Arbor,
Yes.
Neptune,
Yes.
Ocean,
Yes.
Lukey.
Well, I'll tell you, we're really slamming that interest on New Jersey Cash Management Fund, aren't we? Got a couple of $4 there, whatever. Anyway, I just want to start off and say, if you've been around the lake, it's been very busy. I mean, there's a lot of people using the lake. You got sailboat guys doing their little craft sailboats. You got kayakers. There's stand-up paddle guys doing. They're paddling in the middle of the night. Believe it or not, kayaking in the middle of the night, boating in the middle of the night. There's a ton of people using the lake, and as we'll be discussing a little later, people wanting to use the lake a lot more and using the shoreline a lot more, which is really nice. But we want to protect that shoreline, so we'll talk about that in a little bit. Okay, flume electrification. Pete, you got this one?
Sure, I will, Mr. Chairman. If you recall, or if you read the minutes or recall what we discussed at the last meeting, there has not been much change. The contractor still is waiting to mobilize to complete his work and the punch list. And the gates are fully operational electronically, but the key is to have them operational remotely. So we're working on that. The contractor's work to be completed includes restoration of the concrete bulkhead, as well as some punch list items and installation of the tide gauges and things like that. So Don, maybe you can talk about our contract with Verizon and what that's going to allow us to do when it's fully operational.
Yeah, we're just waiting for the chip, believe it or not. It's supposed to be in the mail, but we haven't received it. And that's going to go into the modem, and that will give us the ability at least to see the cameras. And we're still working we believe it's wireless from the motors to the modem for the mechanisms. We're not 100% sure on that. And that's one thing we have to sit down with the contractor and go over that final punch list. But we should have most of the items ready to rock. By September meeting, we should be, I would say, 95% done. There are going to be some outstanding things because we can't paint or do the plaster work down below the water level until we load the lake in October. So that'll be the outstanding issue, the only one, I hope. So hopefully in October meeting, we'll have it closed out, I would believe.
I have a question regarding that to Peter. Peter, I've been asking about the gauges for a long time, and Don told me at the last meeting that it would happen as part of the punch list in October.
It's on there.
My question is, could you describe the type of gauge? I remember you brought a type of gauge at one time.
No, we can't do that until the contractor provides us with a shop drawing. We put something in the specification and we designed it.
It's there. It's got to be easy. We have to be able to read it from the remote camera.
Yeah.
So it's got to be big and it's got to be bold because I'm
But we
going.
won't know
Correct.
exactly what it looks like until the contractor gives us his shop drawing, like we do with every other aspect of the design. It's not always exactly it's not always exactly the design that we did. It's always exactly the intent of what we did.
It's going to have to go. It's going to have to go on after the painting and plastering because it's going to go over that.
I have actually 3 questions. I asked the first one, but so what I wanted to know is at one time we had talked about as many as 8 in my notes would be placed gauges would be placed around the lake. So what I'm asking now is, Peter, how many gauges are going to be placed? And finally, what is the criteria you're using to determine the location of where the gauges will be placed?
I can answer that very easily. We
Okay.
can't wait under this contract because this is a contract with the Army Corps of Engineers funding the project, and they will not fund anything, I'm certain, west of Grand Avenue, for example, because that's not in their project limit. Their project limit is the beachfront.
Yeah.
You know,
We did order 3 gauges though.
Yeah, we have
So
3
they're gonna
gauges.
be 3. And where will those be placed? Do you know?
We haven't made that final determination yet, Jeannie.
What's the criteria?
Jeannie, I'm gonna table this because
Well,
it's not pertinent to this information.
It
It's
is
not pertinent to
about
the flume
the-
electrification.
It is
We
about.
we
the-
have 3 on order.
Uh-huh.
They're gonna be delivered and we'll be working it out later. Okay?
I'd like to know where they're going to be placed.
We'll work that
We
out.
don't know yet.
We'll work that out with you. You'll get to pick one spot, your favorite spot by
No,
your
I'd just like. to know
guaranteed.
where they're- I'd like to know where they're going to be placed.
I
We don't
want
know.
one that you
If-
can read it
if
with
you
your
can't,
binoculars. Jeannie.
just I just want to know how we know this, how we know where they're going to, what criteria you use to select one
Jeannie,
location.
Jeannie, listen,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter where they go. It doesn't matter. There's no criteria.
Okay,
It matters if you want a visual accounting of where the elevation of the water is, you put it at that location. There's no technical data behind the location of these gauges.
okay,
You could stick a
Okay.
stick in the water and get the same result
right.
and put
Okay.
increments on it.
That's fine. I just wanted to know if there was a criteria.
Right.
No.
Thank you. I appreciate the answer.
We're gonna move on, guys. We're gonna move on. We gotta get this rolling. 319 grant update. Peter,
We are out to bid for the manufactured treatment devices. Same locations we have discussed previously, so I don't really have to go over them again, but one
No.
is Memorial Drive and 2 are Grand Avenue. We've had interest from 5 contractors and 4 contractors with documents. There may have been a 5th late today, but I'm not aware.
Okay.
So bids are going to be received on August 27th. It's been advertised since August 6th. And we've scheduled the award for our next meeting because once we receive the bids, we have to get DEP review and authorization to award. So there is a possibility we could consider a special meeting before September 17th, but right now we're shooting for September 17th award, which is our next meeting.
yeah, okay. Yeah, what was the date? What was the bid opening date?
You said August 27th.
August 27th. So, and of course, we got COVID issues with the state and some of the guys are furloughed. So we'll try to do our best. If we get the response from the state, we might call everybody back for a vote. We'll let you know. How many days notice do we need, Jeannie? I'm sorry, for Jesse.
2 days,
What's that?
48 hours.
48 hours. So, okay. So, and that would be the only subject of that particular meeting.
Right,
So
exactly.
we really want to get that award as fast as possible. And Peter, the next piece of that, once we get the pricing in, we can start planning the next phase, right? We were talking about that the other day.
Jack's going to be intimately involved in the next phase because
Absolutely.
our engineering portion of the project was the manufactured treatment devices.
Yeah,
The more green environmental side of it
I agree.
is what Jack is doing
So-
at Sunset Lake. And
Sunset and Wesley.
Wesley Lake.
So Jack, you can start that now, the drafting of that paperwork. Okay, we're talking about the rain garden we were going to do for Asbury, right? And we're starting.
yeah,
And
Well,
we're
and
talking
that's-
about the sections at Ocean Grove, maybe other sections of Asbury on
Mhm.
Wesley, and a couple tree boxes over in Sunset. So, and of course you're floating wetlands, but that's a separate deal.
and still don't know where the check is that we requested in September.
I
They
went
said it
today.
was-
It's not there.
had to move through their accounting department. They had approved it. And that's starting to become a concern for me because we're getting closer to the end of the planting window, which is a problem.
How much was that, by the way? How much money was that?
For the islands themselves, it was 1888.
19,000, right?
And yeah, roughly 19,000. And that's not including the plants. The plants will cost probably about 2,000. Plants and anchors $2,000 to $3,000. So hardware and all that good stuff. And that's easy to come by. That's easy to get.
I mean, we have the money in the bank. I mean,
Okay.
it's not that we can't spend it. We know we're gonna get it. So why wouldn't we try to make it happen? We could do that.
That would have been okay. This is a reimbursement style grant, so we were trying to get the advanced funding. Way back when it was, I believe when this started becoming an issue, you guys hadn't been getting checks from the state, so it wasn't
Right.
something that you guys had brought up as an option.
Yeah, we're a little nervous right now. We got the flow of money going. So you
Right.
could, for the next meeting, you can give us a proposal and we could vote on it, at the next meeting, unless you need it done beforehand, because you really need to get the people together in September, October to get the plants in, right?
Yeah, but I think
Not
you're getting
October,
close
it's gotta be
to,
September.
You
yeah,
gotta
I
do
think you're getting
September.
close to the end of the planting window though,
Yeah.
because you put these plants in, if they're, if they don't have enough time to grow, they may not overwinter successfully,
Yeah, they might not. So, well, part of the issue with the payment was that we requested advance payment, and that was going to the manufacturer because we thought this was going to happen back in March. So this was going to go directly to pay the manufacturer for the islands itself.
They were gonna cut the check to the company and not the DLA commission?
Correct.
Ugh.
But again, this was way back when the state hadn't been paying. The DLA commission had been bleeding money out to the contractors.
I guess we're stuck then.
Yeah, I'm going to check on it again to see what the story is. Make sure that, make sure it's made out to let's see who it's made out to. That's the other thing too. If it isn't made out to the DLA commission, we'll just off and done and go. But until then,
Are we authorized to do that, Hunt? Can we do that? Cut that check? Because we kind of already authorized the process.
Where's the check coming from?
It would come from our checkbook. Lorraine.
Yeah, well, I don't see why not.
all right. So what I can do is I can talk to the manufacturer and see if we can get, if they can send, if we can send them a check, maybe as deposit even. And then once they get the
I mean,
check,
they could
from
bill
the
us.
state, then they can refund us back.
Maybe they could bill us and we won't pay them. And then, you got probably 30 days.
Now that
Their-
they need
their
payment to start. Yeah.
Yeah, their process is that they require payment in full in advance of them making the islands. I think they've gotten burnt too many times.
Yeah.
So they require payment in full. Then they'll put together the islands, ship that up to New Jersey.
Do you know the
And,
time frame? Once you cut the check, the time frame for delivery?
It could take about 2 weeks to make the islands and then maybe about a week for delivery. So about 3 weeks. I know.
So,
Again, we started this process back
if
in
we
September.
cut the check tomorrow, we're talking mid-September, right?
I mean, what I would suggest, Don, is that even if you get the islands themselves, just the base material, get the base material now. And if you have to just store it over the winter and then you get the plants in the spring and then plant them, because that's the limiting factor here. And I
Yeah,
don't
that's
even
not a
know,
bad
Jack,
idea.
if you can get enough plant material from, to plant them at this point in time.
Right.
Is there enough
So-
plant material available?
That's a good point. I'll get in contact with Pinelands and find out what the story is. I mean, we have a bunch of plant material. We'll do one for another 319 at some point at Reddington. So Pinelands and Octorara have plant material around.
Right.
Now, granted, it might not be suitable for wetlands. It's trees, so it could be different. But that said, that's not a bad point. Just have them make them, ship them, and we'll store them over the winter if we need to, and then plant them in the spring.
Okay.
That's not a bad idea.
Right.
So
You could
I
get
can
them
talk
in the
to
water, and then at that point in time, Pinelands Nursery will have a surplus of material, so it would be easy to get, all the plant material and get them in at the beginning of April, and
Yeah, that may not be a bad idea.
Gotcha. All right. Thanks, Jack. That's
And then by then we could probably, not have to worry about social distancing as much and have more of an education effort.
Yeah.
That said, I do have the presentation ready for the second educational meeting. I would like to couple that with being close to the implementation of the islands though. So
I
I'm
got it.
kind of hold off on that for now,
Okay, thanks.
unless
Thanks.
otherwise noted. So, all right, thanks.
And the other, I've been in touch with the other commissions, so, they're waiting patiently for the action. But if we can start moving out on all those the tree boxes, I think they would get a warmer, fuzzy feeling. Okay.
Yeah, Don, the tree boxes Jack and I did this at Ocean County Park. The tree boxes can be installed even in the fall. And then what will happen is that the manufacturer will come in at the spring to actually do planting and activate them, so
Sure.
it can be put in the ground, the media's there, they'll have that all covered up, and then they'll come in during the spring, activate the
Got
media,
it.
put plants in. So you can do all of that work, over the fall and through the winter. That doesn't make that much of a difference.
Yeah, but the big thing is the RFP now, so we got to get that
Yeah,
on.
right.
Yeah, so Peter, you and I can rally again about the tree boxes in the near future.
We'll do that.
If there's any money
We
left.
have the plan, and so we're ready to move forward when you are.
All right, cool.
Peter's pretty confident we're going to have, a nice balance left to do the right job. So we're pretty excited about that.
Let the minutes note that the chairman said that.
Oh, donate, right?
The engineer didn't say that.
That's it for 319. Organic material from various retention ponds. I just want to show you a couple quick pictures that I took today from the air, and I can tell you every single one of the retention ponds, which is the Fireman's Pond, Lollipop Pond, Terrace Pond, and Hollow Brook Pond, they're a mess. And I just want to give you an example of what we're talking about here. Let me see if I can find them. 1 second.
I pledge allegiance.
No, hold on.
That's fun.
Where is it? Where'd it go? Come on. There we go. This is the Fireman's Pond. I mean, looks like oil seeping out here. This is the monument. This is over on Wickapeka and Grassmere, right? There's another shot. Oh, hold on, I got to move you guys. Hold on a second. I got to grab all you guys and move you. How am I going to do that? Here we go.
Top of the box.
Raymare's to the left and Grassmere's to the right.
Correct. This is what you're looking at here. It's pretty bad. This is a section. This is Lollipop Pond. This is Wickapeka. The firehouse. Nick's Pizzeria is down here. And this is the back section, I think, by the liquor store. It's pretty muddy. It's a mess. Again, in the back sections, you got the duckweed, various different weeds. It's bad. This here, I believe, this is Terrace Pond where we just did the weeding, right? There was some success, but not a lot. The weed killing did not work. As you can see, some areas are clear, but most of them are not. The weeds are still prevalent in the area, as you can see. This is looking east towards Asbury Park. This is a drone shots. A lot of weeds. There's a bunch. Steve, you see that?
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah.
It
Now
was-
here's, just to mention, this is an aerial shot right on top of Terrace Pond. I'm sorry, it's Terrace Pond. This shows the coke plant area that was just ripped down. This is in the Hollow Brook watershed. The brook comes down here and goes in behind Mr. Mullen's house. I see Mr. Mullen on today. If you see this power plant up here, this is the Seaview Power Station. Our watershed begins right up here in this area. And Peter's operations over here, I think. So that's where our water's flowing. So, hopefully we're on top of that coke plant. Peter's been watching that. We have no plans yet for that. Nothing's been seen. Again, this is Hollow Brook. Horrible looking. It's full of weeds, debris. Brian Mullen's house is here somewhere. And that's the store, the gas station, they were just doing some work on. As you can see, there's a lot of cars there, a lot of runoff going in from that. And here's another shot of Hollow Brook. That's coming into from Neptune into Asbury and Ocean Township. That's it. So I just wanted to get just a sense for how bad these lakes are back there. And we got, it's most of it's Ocean Township, so it's kind of my back to talk to the mayor and get things moving. So I'm going to tell you, I'm going to try to do that and try to push a little harder. Okay.
Don, over
Yeah.
on in Fireman's Pond there, where there
Yeah.
was the oil stains in the water,
Yes.
is there a storm drain in that vicinity that's
No.
running off?
No, believe it or not.
All right.
No, it could be maybe threw a bucket of tar in there. I don't know. I couldn't see it with my eye, to be honest with you. It might be a reflection of something.
Yeah.
It could be a reflection.
I mean, it could be just that, just, sort of a reflection.
Yeah.
Like,
But anyway, it's bad. It's not getting better. And just want you to know that. Water testing. Mom, FlowNet, any word on that? What's going on?
yeah, I spoke to Dr. Adolph today, and some good news. The water testers have been continuing to do sampling of Deal Lake. At least 5 locations are regularly tested, but obviously we need more areas tested. So, but the other good news is that they're hiring a part-time person to work specifically with the CLONET program. So Jason's going to have help, which is really important because it's been a lot on him to do this CLONET program. So this new person will be coordinating and retraining current volunteers and safe waves, maybe 2 at a time. We've been talking about to retrain our current volunteers in September. And then we're looking to provide training sessions to a small group of new volunteers after that. So I'll help to recruit people for that same way as last time via our email server and Deal Lake Watershed Alliance. They'll send out notices to their folks. So I invited Jason because he had information to share with us. I invited him to come to our October meeting, if that's a good time for him to come, for you guys, to speak briefly about the results of CLONET testing so far on our lake.
Sure.
If we could put him on the October agenda. He'll also introduce the new person who will be working with him to help with coordinating training and testing for our volunteers.
We could do that. Jesse, we can make that happen. Okay, thank you. Ship and Stiff program. No update on that. We're just waiting for a nice rainstorm. We had one the other day, but it kind of was a surprise. But we're looking for a nice rainstorm during the day, and we could put more dye in certain sections of the lake. Trying to track down some of those leaks we have. Seaview Mall, no update on that. The weed treatment, I was not happy with, to be honest with you. I mean, it worked on the lower section. We know it wiped out some lily pads. It did wipe out some weeds, but it didn't do a lot. And I did get a report back today. Steve, you want to summarize what was said by Solitude?
I agree with them. I think that, number one, one single treatment is not going to alleviate all the weeds that are in that section of the lake. It's going to take aggressive, repetitive action. So I know what you're saying, Don, but at the same time, my expectation was not that we were going to wipe out all the weeds in there. I mean, there's so much of a seed mass in there. It's going to take a lot of effort.
Well, we made a dent. We did make a dent. I have to admit that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, so what Solitude is saying is what we already know. Long term, we need to go in there and do dredging, but we're not going to do dredging until we have the sedimentation problems that are impacting that section of the lake and other sections of the lake under control. So, I mean, them telling us that we need to do dredging is nothing new. We know that already. And the weed treatments, and we also know that it's a Band-Aid. But I do feel that it had some impact, positive impact.
Yeah.
It wasn't as great as what we would hope, but it's going to take multiple treatments in order to get.
So next year, Steve, I talked to Steve already about putting an RFP together. Maybe we could put Hollow Brook in that and do also Terrace Pond and do a treatment earlier. We want to get still maybe October we'll get an RFP out and get it awarded maybe in the December meeting before we end.
I mean, there's always the challenge with all of those impounded sections of the lake is that they flush very frequently, so that, it's a timing issue. There's a lot of sediment in the water column that affects the efficiency of the product. And then when we're using contact herbicides, you have to have some weeds there, and there's no pre-emergent aquatic herbicides. So you can't just scatter stuff and then wait for some weed growth has to be occurring.
But I don't think we got in there till June. We had it awarded earlier now, but they didn't get in there till
They
later.
didn't get it there until June. I mean,
So
ideally,
we got into May, I think we'd be better off.
Right, I agree with you 100%. Ideally, that's when we want to be in there.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, we did go there with them, and at the time, like you, myself, and Bob Schindler inspected that section of the lake. The weed growth had started, but it wasn't that bad. But there was a delay in them being able to get there. And then there was
it was about a month. It was at least a month after that.
Right, and there was a whole, issue with them not notifying the golf course in time. That added to the delay. So you're absolutely right. It's paramount that, it get initiated early in the season.
Yeah, there was some concern they didn't do all of the edge. They missed the whole golf course edge. Might have been misinterpretation.
That's what Laura.
I never got a clarification from them on that.
From them, yeah.
Yeah, I spoke to Laura about that today, and she wanted to make that point that she noticed that they did not treat along the golf course.
She didn't see it. I mean, they may say they did, but she said she was watching them, and they were only spraying on her side. So I'm guessing that they stayed away from the golf course for a reason. So, which probably was a bad reason.
But
they probably thought they were affecting they had intakes for the golf course at different locations along the golf course, and they just stayed away from it. That's my guess.
I mean, there's only one intake. I mean, and it's pretty obvious where the intake is.
Yeah. Anyway, I think they'll do better next year. But if you could start that solicitation and maybe October meeting, I don't know about September, but definitely October, we should vote on it.
I'll have it ready for you for the September meeting.
Oh, okay, that's good.
I mean, we know we're going to do it, right? So
yeah, we're going to do a 2-year effort, I believe. Want to do, and we're only going to keep it Deal Lake right now. That's it. That's it for now.
The other thing you're going to include in that, Steve, in case it's needed, and then we won't know until spring, right? About the section we treated east of Wickapeka, right? You won't know.
We'll make it an option. We'll make it an option.
Right, make it an option. Okay.
And we'll include Hollow Brook this time too. Okay. Let me keep rolling. Assessment update. I think we still have Interlake and outstanding, and they did say they were going to pay.
Just Interlake.
They said Carol was going to cut the check. I think your tax check, Interlake, just cut it to the Deal Lake Commission.
Don, I thought we picked that up. I thought we picked up the check the day that we had our meeting with the mayor.
No, never.
I didn't get it.
No.
Did he give it to me?
When we picked up the mail, I thought it was in the mail, and Lock Arbor's was also, no?
Oh no, that was just Lock Arbor.
Okay.
I can take the opportunity to check because I'll be meeting with them Monday.
Okay, thanks, Pete.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'll let you know.
Phase 1, 319 with NJIT. We have a response, and Steve and I are meeting with them, I think, next week.
Right, the 26th at 9:30 to inspect the boat launch, and then probably give them a little bit of a tour of the lake so they can understand some of the height limitations with getting their barge underneath some of the bridges.
And I could take my boat. I mean, I'll coordinate that with the weather. If it's good weather, I think I'll bring my boat over there. We'll bring them on a boat ride, so might be easier. They could do their measurements right there if they want.
Yeah.
So, but that's exciting. So that's the whole idea about the algae eating. I always like to say the algae eating boat, right? From China. But I think the boat's being built here, if I'm not right. Did they say that in the email?
I have no idea where the boat is and if it's
going to be custom made or something. That's my interpretation of what she said.
This has nothing to do with this item, right, that you're talking about.
This is the NJI. This is the NJIT. It's the 319.
Right.
Phase one, NJIT won $500,000 grant, and we were a test site for that equipment that supposedly takes blue-green algae out of the water. So it's going to benefit Deal Lake. So it's a test. It's a statewide test being conducted on Deal Lake, which is pretty exciting.
Yeah, that is.
So, okay.
Hello.
So we'll let you know how that goes. I'll put that. Send an email out to you guys on that.
What date is that, Don?
What's that?
What's the date that they're coming?
It's next Wednesday, I think, Steve.
Yes, it's next Wednesday. It's the 26th at 9:30 in the morning. We're meeting at the boat launch.
Don,
Yeah.
this is Lock Arbor. I've got to sign off because I've got to take my computer to be fixed. And I've got to have it there at 7:45. So sorry about that, but I'm signing out, okay?
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
All right, sorry.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
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 We still good? We're still good. We're still good, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, 4. Okay. Let's keep rolling here. Phase 2. We were hoping to get another grant for a couple $100,000. We did not get that. Our friends at Lake Capacon got it, right?
Yeah.
And I believe
The rich got richer.
What's that?
The rich got richer.
Well, I'll be honest with you, we've gotten more grant money than they have. So,
I wouldn't go that far.
whatever. I felt pretty good when I was talking to them. It seemed like they never got anything other than the special money for weeding. That was about it.
We've gotten a fair amount of money, but regardless, we didn't, we had submitted a grant application. We weren't awarded, but.
Do we know our score? There was a score given. Do we know what our final score was?
No.
Because I didn't know good. Jack, could you check on that? Because there, it'll be nice to know where we ended up.
Yeah,
Do we get
I
a
could
B
try.
plus?
I
Or?
feel like I saw that there was some way to like a link or something, but I never received the email about our submission.
Yeah.
So I'll have to rally back with you guys to see what kind of correspondence you've had. But otherwise, I can check with.
Yeah, well,
They just had a link. You had to sign back in.
Yeah.
That was it.
Jack, they didn't send us a letter saying we did not get the grant. They just sent out that notice of which grants were authorized for funding.
All right.
Oh, I did get a letter. I got a note. Thank you for your submission.
Yeah, that's what I thought I'd seen.
I did get that.
That's okay.
Could you send me that letter?
Yeah,
Sure.
Copy me too if it's digital. If not, no worries. I'll talk to Lisa, our grant manager for the current the 319 we're working on, and I'll see if she can get us some info.
Okay. It looked very official, by the way. I just want to mention that. Okay. Geese remediation. Let me show. We talked about signs. I worked with the Wesley Lake guys, and and Steve, and we came up with an interesting sign to basically educate. I'm sorry. Here, let's see here. I gotta shrink you guys here. Hold on, so I can see this. Geese sign. There we go. Do you see that?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Not yet.
Hold on. Share. Now I got it. Okay, here we go. Bingo. There we go.
go.
Don't feed the geese. And we have why not, and that was the final sign we decided on. So between the two lakes and Steve's input, and we're getting those. I think Wesley Lake's making those up. We're going to contribute something to it, but hopefully we can get these out. Here's what's happening. We've had a lot of people feeding the geese. Every time I walk around the lake, I see people feeding the geese, and I give them the big speech. I don't say you're going to get thrown in jail, $500 fine. I just say, here's the problem, right? And they usually walk away and throw the bread in the trash. So that's been good. But, it's just an educational thing. I don't think we're going to stop everybody, but we stop half the people. That might help.
But you have a little speaker attached to the signs that yells at them when they.
I'm going to train some geese to say, don't feed us this crap. It's going to kill us.
I'd love to hear the speaker.
I
say
don't know.
that.
It's tough because every kid wants to feed a goose. I mean,
Right.
or a duck, and it's cute. They love it. It's hard. I saw there was 3 just on one walk in Asbury, and they were all around the flume. Everybody's coming out of their car, and I even had a cop feeding one. So,
Oh my
just saying.
God.
Not going to say it was an Asbury Park cop, but it might have been. It might have been.
Jesus.
I even know him anyway. So,
Oh, I thought-
but we got, if you see people, just ask them to stop. I mean, that's the key. The other part of the geese problem, Wesley Lake did install their lighting system. They have 11 lights. They look like landing lights for a runway. So they're plopped in the water, and they're equally distant apart. So when you go and buy it at night one of these days, check it out and see if it's working. They're supposed to be chasing the geese away. The geese are not supposed to like these lights, and they just don't stick around for sleeping at night, and they go to another lake to sleep. So they are installed. One thought: if this is successful, next year we possibly can get these for the back lakes. All the mud holes we're talking about a minute ago. We could put some of these lights back there and chase the geese. Lollipop Pond is loaded with geese. So I'd love to see them out of there. And maybe even Terrace Pond, we can get the golf course to work with us on paying for some of the installation and get them on Terrace Pond. So it can't hurt, right? Bruce, I see you there. I'm not sure how many geese you have in Hollow Brook. Do you get a lot?
You mean Brian?
Oh, I'm sorry, Brian. I'm sorry, Brian.
Yeah. Last year I counted over 50 at one time.
Okay.
They were having a parade past my house.
Yeah, so the lights would probably work there too.
Well, not to state the obvious, but if we get them when they're eggs before they get to be big geese.
Yeah, these are adults, Gene. I know that. You're right, Gene. Absolutely right.
Before they get a chance to become geese.
Yeah, but we have problems that we have full-grown geese visiting our lake because they love it so much. So we just got to make it so we don't love them too much. So we'll continue that spraying. We'll try to get more towns involved. We'll try to get landowners to use it, and we'll try to get folks to understand that they shouldn't be feeding them, and they should be calling their towns associate people in the towns when they have nests in their backyard, and they can get the eggs taken care of. So I'm going to move on, guys. Nobility Crest, no update on that, but I did go up there, and I have seen no problems during rainstorms recently. They have corrected the situation. Doesn't mean it's not happening. Hunt, how are we doing on that letter we were talking about?
Well, it's a lot bigger project than I thought. What we're talking about is filing a notice of intent to file a citizen suit for violations of the Federal Clean Water Act and the New Jersey Water Pollution Control Act. I'm through basically with the research of those statutes and what I have to do in order to file. What I haven't got is I haven't done the legwork yet. There's a lot of information that I have to get from the towns and from the county, and a lot of those offices aren't generally open. You have to find them and then tell them what you want, and then they're making me go through hoops to get the stuff. So until for example, I need a copy of their general permit to see what they were supposed to do to find out whether or not they did something wrong. So you have to form the foundation of your complaint, and I haven't been able to do that because of the
since it's Ocean Township, I don't know if Jesse can help, but
well, I'll talk to Jesse.
Probably have to go through the right channels, right, Jesse?
I wanted to do my own research first of all before I got anybody involved in it, because I really didn't want to have everybody going crazy.
All right.
But if I hit a dead end, certainly Jesse's my first call over to Ocean.
Yeah.
And Peter's right there too. Peter's been through this with other complaints.
Give me an update during the next couple of weeks so we can figure out.
Well, I'll talk to you anyway. I need information from you too, as well as about the violation itself. So
right. I have photos from the previous.
I know. We've talked about it.
Yeah. All right.
Very good.
Thank you. Great Lakes update. And Jack or Pete or Jack and Steve, any updates you guys have on that?
Well, Don, I just sent you, maybe you can share it with everybody. DEP's updated, sign that they use, or not sign, but the categories that they establish for various, severity of a harmful algae bloom. I just sent that to you over by email.
Okay, let me get it up.
Maybe you can put that up on the screen. But DEP did have a webinar about a week and a half ago or so. It was primarily for the media, and they used the webinar as a means of establishing how they are tracking differently this year than last year harmful algae blooms. And one of the things that they have done is they updated the various criteria that they use to define how bad a bloom is and what's allowed and what's not allowed. So
There it is. There it is, Steve.
yeah, so this, this basically shows you that there's, essentially 4 different categories ranging from watch to danger. And under each of those categories, it's defined either by a cell count. You can see like 20,000 to 80,000 cells where you'd be in a watch, or the amount of toxins. Whenever you have a toxin concentration in excess of 3 parts per billion or 3 micrograms per liter, the lake cannot be used for contact recreation. But in any event, this provides, I think, and I think DEP's point to the public, a much more even-handed way to deal with these blooms, and rather than just have beaches closed and lakes closed when there's the scum on the surface, this is much more quantifiable and makes a lot more sense. So bottom line, they initiated this this spring, and this is how they define, how bad a harmful algae bloom is.
And we haven't seen any, there's been no issues this year. I mean, there's no doubt we've had blue-green algae in the lake, but
right.
we've had no signs, no signage
Right.
put up by the county health department.
But last year, what was happening, you have a cell count of 20,000, and that was enough to close a lake. Now you can see with the watch category, you can go from 20,000 to 80,000. 80,000, the lake would be really green. I mean, it would be, a very strong bloom, a severe bloom rather. But yet you can still use the water body for contact recreation with those various cautions. Wash yourself down after, don't let your dog drink the water, stuff like that. But last year, beaches and lakes were being closed at 20,000. And so, this is a much more even-handed, science-based way to approach this. And I have to hand it to DEP, although like Fred Lubna, myself, Jack, we wrote a white paper and submitted it to DEP. They were doing some of their own homework, and they borrowed and utilized different types of criteria from various states across the country to come up with this. And I think, right now, I have to hand it to DEP. I think we're a leader right now nationwide in how we're dealing with harmful algae blooms.
It took a little push though, didn't it?
It took a big push. It did take a big push, but the positive thing is that they listened to us. They listened to the Great Lakes of New Jersey.
Great Lakes, New Jersey.
Yeah, and it did work out well.
Yep. All right, thanks guys. Thanks. Signs. I just gave you the update on the goose shot sign. Still working on somebody. We gave authorization for $500 for signs, by the way, just to remind you. There's some signs for the bridges I want to get done. Haven't got those done and up yet, but we want to get those. They're green, the green signs that says safe passage. Okay, new business. That's it. Oh, that's it for old business. Any old business I missed?
Well, I think the one thing, Jesse did put together the Lake Appreciation Proclamation. And if we could send that off to NOMS, that would be a good thing. It would be, again, a kudo for the Deal Lake Commission. And NOMS would really appreciate knowing, the various, from various lake associations and states, that people are, taking the time to identify July as Lake Appreciation Month. So I know Jesse put together a nice proclamation.
Was it okay?
Oh, you want to read it, Jesse, or?
No. Would you like to read it?
I don't have it.
Oh, come on. Let's see.
I've got it.
You got it? Okay.
Want me to read it?
Sure.
Okay, I'll read it. Okay, whereas lakes and reservoirs are among New Jersey's most valuable natural resources, and whereas lakes and reservoirs provide drinking water, irrigation, energy, recreation, scenic beauty, and habitat for wildlife. And whereas these beneficial uses have been of vital importance to New Jersey's history, growth, and financial health. And whereas our lakes and reservoirs improve the quality of life for all of New Jersey's residents, and their importance should not go unnoticed. And whereas the state of New Jersey recognizes the need to protect these lakes and reservoirs for future generations. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Deal Lake Commission that we hereby proclaim July 20th, 2020 as Lakes Appreciation Month in the state of New Jersey, and invite all citizens to take due note of the observance. Well done.
Oh, thank you.
Nice job.
Thank you.
Nice job,
Thank
Betsy
you.
and Steve.
Are we a little late on that?
No, we're not late at all.
Never too late.
No, send it off to,
Okay.
really,
I will, tomorrow.
yeah, if you want to send it to me and I'll send it to
Well, we
Nolan.
let's vote on that. I move that.
Offered,
Second.
You don't have to vote on it.
You don't vote on it?
No. I'll put it on nice paper too. I'll put it on proclamation paper.
Okay.
Maybe-
If you say so.
Maybe next July, next year in the
Yes, we'll do
spring, we
it.
could,
We'll
I don't
do
know.
something.
I
We'll
don't
get an
get what
annual.
this is though.
Okay, thanks. New business. Oh, what's that?
Sounds like Super Mario.
Storm grates. So I ask all the commissioners to, walk around your area and check for storm grates. If you don't have storm grates that are compliant, talk to your town manager and get them done. That's my ask of you guys, okay? Eric's got a small, Eric doesn't have much, but anything near the Deal Lake, I'd like to get them cleaned up. Storm assessment. I did a little boat ride the other day, and over in the Allenhurst section, we had a lot of trees down. We must have had 10 trees down in the lake. The other sections weren't as bad. Along the railroad tracks, believe it or not, we had one tree down over by Asbury. But the rest of the area didn't look too bad. Don Neeson's house, his old house, he had 2 trees down on his property. So that was not great. But other than that, I didn't see much over in that area, unless you got, there might have been one at Interlake and 1 or 2 at Interlake on the facing the south, facing Wanamassa. They had some problems over there. But just to let you know, if you had any other insight on the storm, I do not. I don't think there was any trees that we needed to take away because there was no navigational issues. So as far as I was concerned, the landowner wants to take them out, they can take them out, correct? If it's on their property? Yeah,
on the Wanamassa side where I sent you those photos, Don,
Yeah.
is that like a riparian grant over there, or how does that work? Who's responsible for those trees that I sent you photos of?
The owner of the property.
the owner of the property, unless it's township property.
Yeah, I'm not sure which is which.
I can't remember where they were exactly. Where were they?
They were right off of, I have to look back. They were,
Wanamassa Point Road, or the North Wanamassa Point Road?
yes.
Oh, there was a big tree down by
Towards
Nick People
Wickapecco,
River.
there were 2.
On Wickapecco.
No, on the Wickapecco end of North Wanamassa.
Yeah, there was one big one. It didn't go into the lake though, but it was on the shoreline.
Yeah.
That was pretty big. And I think
Yeah.
that's township property. A lot of that's private property though. As
Okay.
Peter knows, yeah. But if we'll see what happens in the fall. The town, they're still getting to a lot of these trees. I have one on my shoreline that fell down, and I'm going to try to get a chainsaw out there and take it out. It's a small limb, but it's big enough to cause a problem. So it's in one of the walkways.
So if we're done with that topic, I have one question.
Let me keep going. 1 second. Coke plant. Again, we're on it. The mayor of Asbury had asked some questions about it. We gave an answer. He was concerned about that. So, we're on that. Peter's on the planning board. There's been no plan submitted. We know that the demolition was done. A lot of history there.
Yeah, just so everyone understands, the property is, because the mayor didn't seem to understand exactly where the property was located. The property is entirely located in the township of Neptune.
Right.
The property, though, as Don and I discussed at length, drains not only through the township of Neptune, but through Brian Mullen's basement. It drains through Hollow Brook, bordering Ocean Township and Asbury Park. So Asbury has a concern, although there's not a tremendous impact on Asbury Park from this site. Just so everyone knows, one of the functions that I take as a planning board engineer is to meet with prospective developers and try to engage them in entertaining environmental aspects of their design before they complete their design and go before the planning board. And with this application, we knew there's some remediation. There's not just demo. They just applied for a demolition permit. That's all they applied for. So when they come forward with their initial design plans, we'll have the opportunity to meet with them and have the opportunity to ensure that they comply with the stormwater regs of the Township of Neptune and the state of New Jersey, and perhaps go a little further. And this is a tributary that Dr. Souza recommended installation of a sediment basin in years ago, and the state, through their infinite wisdom, said no. So the stuff that
Thanks,
the
Pete.
sediment continues over Asbury Avenue to Brian's branch.
Yep. Okay. Any other new business?
I have a question.
Sure.
I didn't really fully understand that proclamation, Jesse. Can you I don't get it.
Yeah, if you want, let me explain it, Eric. So annually, the North American Lake Management Society designates July as Lake Appreciation Month worldwide. So it's not just, for the U.S. And they ask lake associations, private lakes, commissions like the Deal Lake Commission to support Lake Appreciation Month. And so that's what that was. It was essentially a proclamation, saying that, yeah, we appreciate lakes and, we're here supporting NOMS and we're doing our thing too to protect the lakes of New Jersey. So that's what it's all about. It's essentially just a document of support for, this initiative that NOMS has had in place for about like 3-4 decades now.
We could do one from the state too, if that would be helpful. On the
In
statewide.
fact, that would be great. I mean, in fact, the commission did wrangle that at one point in time with a proclamation that was actually signed, I forget by which governor, but, it's going back into the, the 90s, early 90s. So that would be a great thing if, if you could do that, and get the legislature. Yeah, I mean, because a lot of money spent on lakes, and lakes send a lot of revenue back to the state too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So we'll work.
And it's not too late. It really isn't. I mean, NOMS would appreciate getting, a letter of support, a proclamation, things along those lines at any time of year. It would really be great. We could probably, try to make it into some kind of like a little like newsletter feature that maybe they could put in their monthly Lakeline magazine.
We can work on it, but typically they don't come up until you get close to the one you want to celebrate that day.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, I could definitely say we could do it next year. We could make that happen.
Yeah, we could definitely do that. I think that would be a good thing.
Good.
Peter,
Thanks, Eric.
Peter, could I ask you a question?
Sure.
When you were speaking about the Coca-Cola plant, were you what commission is it that you're on? Did you say you're on the planning board?
It's the Neptune Township Planning Board that would be responsible for review and consideration of approval of any development application.
Okay, thank you.
And Peter doesn't do Coke, he does Pepsi. I just want to mention that too.
Come on now, Don.
All right. I think it's time to open up to the public meeting. Jesse?
A motion to open the meeting to the public? Second?
Second.
Okay.
Okay. Public, Marty, Tina, and 772. Anybody want to speak?
Yeah, Don, this is Bill Hodges.
Hey, Bill.
Hey, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, hey, how's it going? I know I'm on the cover of my wife's iPad here. I just wanted to say I was very pleased with the outcome of the weed treatment on the east end of the lake, Wickapecco.
Yeah, that worked well.
The lake looks very healthy and much more navigable since being treated, because it was definitely going in the wrong direction. You know, surrounding wildlife is flourishing. Ospreys are getting plenty of fish, and the fishermen also. So everything, you know, really checked out. And also I want to thank the experts for they really called it. Everything that they said would happen did happen. We had some browning of some of the lily pads, but the lily pads are back and flourishing. I've seen some new shoots out there. So it's just looking overall health, and I just want to kind of thank the commission for, you know, moving forward on that, and that we can maybe, you know, continue this maintenance program, you know, on the lake.
Yep, thanks,
So
Bill.
that's
Hey,
good. Yeah.
thanks for bringing up the animals. By the way, I had 2 more confirmations of the river otters.
Whoa.
Two
Wow.
more sightings. I saw it myself, and our Todd Rush and also Mr. Jim Scully on the lake saw them. So they are
good.
out there.
So we got some new
guys,
residents. All right.
they pop up. They come up about 6-7 inches out of the water. They're about the size of a muskrat head, and they say some wild noise. They duck
I'll
up.
keep my wife away from that.
Yeah, you may want to keep it away from it. But they're
Well,
living in
thanks
the
a lot,
lake,
guys.
so they're there. Okay, anybody else?
I have a couple questions for Peter.
Who's this?
This is Brian Mullins.
Oh, Brian, yeah, go ahead.
Well, first, Peter, I refer to Hollowbrook as my moat. That's what it looks more like.
I call it Brian's branch now.
Yeah, Brian's. That's something I like to be known for. Yes. But 2 things, I guess, or 3.
Yeah.
Maybe. First, the gas station next to the car dealership. I spoke to someone in Neptune because the meeting last month got canceled because of the hurricane. That site was allowed to have a repair shop in it. It was left abandoned because it stopped being used. A new owner bought it and let a guy move in without permission from the town. So they're going for a variance for, I guess, reopening that abandoned use of a repair shop. What are the requirements? Because I just worry about fluids leaking down to the lake.
Right. Well, technically, Brian, it's under land use law, it's an abandonment of a prior use that's not permitted in the zone that the gas station is located in. So they are going to the Neptune Zoning Board of Adjustment for approval. The zoning board will hear their testimony and make a determination on that. If it's something that you are concerned with, someone else in my office handles that board. But you can certainly make your concerns known and comments known. They're still meeting virtually, so it would be a.
It's been rescheduled to September 2nd, so I am a little bit worried about that. And
Hey, Brian, if you want to draft something up, I think I can sign it as the Deal Lake Commission. You know, I'm concerned. You know, it's something we should be concerned with. So I could sign for that.
Okay.
You want to draft something
If you
up?
want to, Brian, if you want to call my office and talk to Matt, Matt's the zoning board engineer, and he'll be glad to walk you through the. Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Yep.
Matt Mariano?
No, not Matt Mariano. We have 2 minutes.
And then I do want
Don't laugh, Jesse.
a couple questions about the Coca-Cola distribution. That's I want to say it's like 13 total acres, but somewhat like 5 of it is considered wetlands. How does that address what they can build on that site or size, or how does that work?
Very good point. And it's something that Eric and I worked on in Neptune Township. So you can thank, what I always do as engineer is allow the governing body officials to get the thanks for what we undertake. Years ago, we had an application in Neptune on Wayside Road for a site development, and it was denied. Before they reapplied, Neptune listened to their planners and also was involved in it. And we had made a recommendation that when you have a development site that's encumbered by environmentally sensitive area, whether it's wetlands or conservation easement or a deed restriction of some kind, include that area in the density calculation for the proposed development. So if you have a 10-acre site and 4 acres are wetlands, you can only develop 6 acres, and you can only utilize those 6 acres for creating the criteria for the. So if you were doing a density calculation for residential and you use 10 acres and you could have 10 units per acre, that's 100 units, but they're really only on 6 acres. So what Neptune said is if you're restricted to 6 acres, you can only put 60 units maximum on there.
Okay.
That's just the generality. Here, there are environmentally sensitive areas to your side. I'm going to say the east side of the property. They are not included in the development area. So in this case, it's a site development. It's lot and building coverage. That'll be restricted to only the usable land.
Okay.
So the front portion, probably what was developed prior.
Now, the device that's been mentioned about potentially or hopefully going in, so if something is in there or put into that site to help with the stream, would that be basically like a silver bullet in a sense for Hollowbrook in helping with what floats down the river and silt and all that?
I'm going to want to talk to Steve about this when we do our review, because some of the state's criteria for development of pre-existing properties really gives the developer a lot of leeway.
Yeah.
If they had an acreage of impervious coverage and what they're proposing is less, they don't have to do anything virtually. So we have to look at it like we want them to do infiltration. We want them to do sediment removal. We want them to do flow mitigation. We want them to do all those important criteria in there. So when we get the plans, I know we can do it, but I like to have Steve's input on it as it affects your lake. And we'll let you know how it goes. But if you don't, for example, you don't have sediment removal, you're going to still have that same sediment transport kind of just mitigating through the site and coming over into your backyard again.
Right.
We don't want that.
I think one of the things that we can look at, Peter, is if they need a waiver or variance from the town, then that becomes a leverage to ask for some of these additional stormwater management improvements that maybe that, technically they would not have to provide. So it's sort of like a give and take type of thing, but I'll be more than happy to help you with that.
Neptune before, and the planning board is aware of it. And we would like to use it here, even if you can't do it on your site particularly, we'd love to do it here. Maybe we get the county, like Don said, maybe we get the county's involvement too, because the culvert crossing on Asbury Avenue is in serious need of repair.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But we'll keep on top of it, Brian, and you'll know as it moves forward.
Thank you.
Brian, I have a question. Have you noticed those drains? Have they fixed the drains on Asbury Avenue right on that flow into your section of the lake there?
From
Asbury Avenue, when they
stuff that covers over it?
Yeah, there was two wide open culverts or grates.
I have not noticed an improvement to that, no.
No, they're still there, just holes, right next to.
As far as my memory serves me correct, yes.
So Don, who do I contact about that?
It's the county. I have the contact. I've been backed off the county, to be honest with you, during the COVID situation. I have a whole list of things that's on the list. There's the bridges and so I can go back and beat on them again before the next meeting. Okay, I'll send that email out.
Thank you. I'm willing to share in that load if you want.
No, it's all on one letter. I had sent it out before. I could just resend it to the key players and make
all
it.
Right.
Yeah, Marty, I see you. How you doing, buddy? Oh,
you're muted, Marty.
I think I just unmuted.
Marty, you're muted. Unmute yourself. There you go.
How about now? Am I unmuted?
Oh,
you're good.
You're good.
I'd like to talk to the commission about Fireman's Pond. When I moved down here in 2003, and I started attending DLA commission meetings, Fireman's Pond was on the list about how it would be remediated from way back then. And over the years, there's been a lot of different efforts made to clean up Fireman's Pond. However, right now, Fireman's Pond, the only thing that is there is a memorial site for the Wanamass Fire and First Stage Fire. Very nice site. And I've shared some pictures with Don, and I've given an additional thought. And what I plan on doing is making a proposal, a project proposal to the township committee and what the town council, and what it would be to make it a complete first responders park. From one end, from one street, all the way out to Wickapeco, make the whole thing into a park to honor our first responders, the police, the firemen, the first aid, and the first responders that are dealing with the coronavirus right now. Now, I put together a plan in my mind, which I plan on talking about how it would be done and who will pay for it. But I think an important part of this is that I'm going to recommend to them that a commission be formed, and on that commission, the DLA commission have a representative present to make sure that everything you guys would like to have done is done. All right, right now, just kind of FYI, right now Neptune City is finishing off a first responders park, and it's funded almost entirely by the federal government via a grant. Now, there's no reason why Ocean Township couldn't have a similar first responders park funded by the federal government, certainly with Eric there, maybe some state funds available, and the county, and maybe some community activities, or even the town itself might want to contribute to this. But the point is that by doing something like this, maybe Fireman's Pond could be made into First Responders Park, complete with, as a park might be, and with park benches, and we can walk around and get thoroughly cleaned up. And who knows, maybe the youngsters and older folks could do fishing there, and in wintertime ice skating. But I guess the important point is, at least from my viewpoint, that I would hope that the DLA Commission could support, if they're in for an opinion, could support this kind of project, because I do intend on making that request to the town council. Thank you.
Marty, I'm 100% with you. So that sounds like a wonderful idea.
Let's see. I mean, we all know it's uphill.
I mean, it's uphill, but we got the county involvement because of the bridge. That's a county dam. But we could definitely help out with that. And I was just over there today with my son doing videos, and it's a mess. It's a mess.
It's a mess.
I'd rather see it drained right now and have just a stream going through it, so we can get to drain all the muck out, and then we can get the dry material out. That would help out a lot. And we need tree trimming, tons of tree trimming in there. It's just got to be spruced up. We could do it in stages. I think we could do it in stages.
What I'm going to propose to the town at the meeting, how will this be done and who will pay for it? For starters, overall management responsibility has to be assigned. Since this would be an Ocean Township Community Park, it should be Ocean Township Council's responsibility. Initially, a First Responders Park Commission should be appointed with the energetic project manager to develop a time action plan and also a landscape architect for design costs. Commission should include appointees from DLA Commission, police, fire, and first aid, and interested community members with the goal to develop a complete plan with cost for your review and approval. And it goes on, but the thought is there that.
When are you going to present that, Marty?
Well, I was going to do it at the last town council meeting, but I had a personal problem. My brother being in a hospital, I couldn't do that, but probably the very next one in September, I'm going to do it.
Drop me an email on the actual day you're going to do it. Maybe I can attend. Okay.
Okay. I guess it'll be virtual. Jeannie, I have the email link to go to virtual. So
okay.
Jesse gave me. So if I could do that,
great.
I'm going to do it. So okay.
Marty, I love you. If you can get that kind of money, that'd be wonderful.
You never know until you ask.
Hey, Mark, we'll look around too, see if there's anything available statewide.
There you go.
Thanks,
would be something like that would be qualified.
But Eric, the federal government is funding that one in Neptune City as well from the community block grant. So there's no reason why.
Yeah.
I don't know the mechanics of how you do something like that, but if they could do it for them, they could do it for us.
Yeah. So application's got to be filled out as well. There's a lot of money out there available. It's just about how you go about getting it.
That's
Right,
great.
so,
Great idea, Marty.
okay, that was my point for tonight.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Anybody
you,
else?
guys, for
I
listening.
guess that's it, right?
All right.
I see no one else.
Motion to close the.
Motion
public
to,
hearing?
motion to adjourn.
So
Motion
moved.
to close the public hearing.
Oh, close public, I'm sorry.
So
Someone,
moved.
second?
I'll second.
Now we're gonna motion to close the meeting.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
There we go.
all in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye.